Water. Water molecule. A water molecule is a polar molecule. This is because in this water molecule, the hydrogen region of a water molecule have partial positive charge and the oxygen region of a water molecule have partial negative charge. Hydrogen bonding of water molecules. Water molecules are polar molecules. If we look at this diagram, the water molecule at the oxygen region will have two partial negative charge. At each of the hydrogen atom region of the water molecule have partial positive charge. Okay, so let's look at the hydrogen region of a water molecule. So because the presence of partial positive charge at the hydrogen region of a water molecule, it will attract the oxygen region of another water molecule that have partial negative charge. So this attraction between partial positive of hydrogen of one water molecule and the partial negative charge of oxygen of another water molecule will form hydrogen bond. The hydrogen bond are drawn using dotted line. At the oxygen region of a water molecule, it have two partial negative charge, 1 and 2. Each of these partial negative charge at the oxygen region of a water molecule will form hydrogen bonds with another water molecules. So therefore, at the oxygen region of a water molecule, it can form two hydrogen bonds with another two water molecule. Okay, so the other region of a water molecule at the hydrogen region, it also form another hydrogen bond with another water molecule. Okay, so therefore each water molecule can form four hydrogen bonds with another four neighboring water molecules. Three forms of water. The degree of hydrogen bonding between water molecules are different for three different forms of water. So water can exist as gas or vapor, liquid, and also ice, which is in the solid form. Hydrogen bonds are formed or broken as water changes from one state to another. In this slide, it shows you the three forms of water. Water in the form of vapor, gas, water in the form of liquid, and also water in the form of solid, which is ice. The first form of water, which is in the form of vapor, as water boils, the hydrogen bonds will break. Okay, loose hydrogen bonds will break, and this is to form steam. Steam will contain minuscules of water droplets. The water molecules, okay, in the vapor or in the gas will move freely as water vapor as the hydrogen bonds breaks between the water molecule. The second form of water, which is liquid, okay, water in the liquid state. So the hydrogen bonds will continuously form, break, and reform between water molecules. That's why we can see that water can moves because the hydrogen bonds between the water molecule will keep on breaking and forming, breaking and reforming. The next form of water is in the form of solid, which is ice. In the form of ice, each water molecule forms four hydrogen bonds with adjacent water molecules. This is to form a regular and evenly distant crystalline lattice structure. Properties of water. These are the properties of water that we are going to look at. The first one is high specific heat capacity. Second, high heat of vaporization. Third, a good solvent. Fourth, high density. Fifth, transparency. Sixth, reactivity. 7, cohesion and adhesion. The properties of water. The first one is water have high specific heat capacity. This means a large number of heat energy is required to rise the temperature of water. The specific heat of water is 1 calorie per gram of water per degree Celsius, which is the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 gram of water for 1 degrees Celsius. So therefore, water temperature is fairly stable when the air temperature changes rapidly. For example, here you have a lake. Okay, a lake with aquatic organism living in the lake. Okay, living in the lake. So such as fish, for example. And the outside uh, and the environment outside, okay, the air is really cold, for example, during winter. For example, the air outside, the temperature can drop up until to 17 degrees Celsius. But these large bodies of water, okay, large bodies of water such as ocean and lakes, the temperature of these large bodies of water will not drop to negative 70 degrees Celsius, as water have high specific heat capacity. The lake or the ocean temperature will not drop according to the temperature in the air. Okay, so this will make sure that aquatic organism can survive during the winter, for example, during cold season, for example. And this also allows enzyme activities to occur within the animal's body. And lastly, this specific heat capacity of water will stabilize temperature on Earth's surface. The second properties of water is water have high heat of vaporization. Heat of vaporization is the amount of heat energy a liquid must absorb, okay, a liquid must absorb for 1 gram to be converted into gas or vapor. Okay, so that is heat of vaporization. 1 gram of liquid that absorb heat to change into gas. Okay, so remember, water molecules in liquid form will have hydrogen bonds forming and breaking between the water molecules, and the molecules in the gaseous state, the hydrogen bonds are broken already. Okay, so the water molecules will be further apart from each other. So water has high heat of vaporization because much energy is absorbed to break the hydrogen bonds in the between the water molecules in the liquid state. Okay, so, this causes water molecules to move faster as hydrogen bonds are broken between the water molecule, and causes the water molecule at the surface of a water body to be released through the process of evaporation. Okay, so for example, um, there is a lake again. Okay, a lake, and the temperature outside is really hot. Okay, the temperature outside is really hot. The molecule of water at the surface of this water body, which is the lake, okay, the molecule at the surface will be the water molecule have hydrogen bonds forming between the water molecules. So this water molecule, okay, the bond between the water molecule will be broken due to the amount of heat that is absorbed by this water molecule to cause the hydrogen bond to be broken and the water at the surface to be released as gas or water vapor, okay, into the air. So therefore a liquid evaporates, taking heat along with them. Its remaining surface cools, a process called as evaporative cooling. Evaporative cooling of water helps stabilizes temperature in organisms and bodies of water. For example, sweating. So when animal is hot, okay, when animal is hot, it produces sweat to cools down the body temperature. Same goes to panting by the animals when the animal is exposed to hot environment. and then also transpiration by plant. Okay, so these are effective ways of how organism cools down. Okay, effective ways of cooling. The next properties of water is that water function or act as a good or universal solvent. A solvent is the dissolving agent of a solution. Water is a polar molecule, so that large polar molecules such as proteins or carbohydrates such as glucose can dissolve in water if they have ionic and polar region. Okay, so example of proteins that can dissolve in water are globular protein. Okay, globular proteins. Example of globular proteins are hormones, enzyme, hemoglobin. These protein, they are found in your body fluid. Okay, your blood, for example. The major component of blood, it consists mostly of water. So that's why globular protein can dissolve in water. Alright, so metabolic reaction takes place between substances in solution. As you can see here, it shows you the structure, the interaction between glucose and water molecules. Glucose, as you know, it is a polar molecule. Okay, so this is the structure of a glucose molecule, where you can see there is a hydroxyl group, okay, in the glucose molecule. Hydroxyl, 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 and also another hydroxyl, and the rest is hydrogen atom. As we have learned before, hydroxyl group is polar. Okay, so because hydroxyl group is polar, it can form hydrogen bond with water molecule. Okay, so if the sugar are placed in water, the sugar, which is glucose, can dissolve in water because of the interaction between the water molecule and the glucose molecule through the formation of hydrogen bond. Okay, so it says here, when an ionic or polar, so glucose is a polar molecule, polar compound is dissolved in water, each ion or molecule is surrounded by a sphere of water called as hydration shell. So water molecule will surround this sugar molecule, forming hydration shell. Okay, so as you can see, water molecule surrounding the glucose molecule. Okay, hydration shell. So the glucose molecule will be separated from one another, and the glucose molecule will be dissolved in the water because due to the formation of hydration shells surrounding the glucose molecule. An example of ionic compound that also can dissolve in water is sodium chloride. Okay, sodium chloride. So sodium chloride, salt, when you place inside water, when you add into the water, the salt will dissolve. This is also the same applies because water molecules will surround the sodium ion and also the chloride ion through the formation of hydration shell. We know that sodium ion is positively charged, so the region of the water molecule that is attracted to the sodium ion will be the oxygen region. Okay, the oxygen region of a water molecule will surround the sodium ion to form the hydration shell. Okay, so this is the formation of hydrogen shell surrounding the sodium ion. Same goes to the chloride ion. Because chloride ion is negatively charged, the region of the water molecule that is attracted to the chloride ion will be the hydrogen region. Okay, so the hydrogen region of a water molecule will be attracted to the chloride ion. Okay, to form hydration shell. The hydrogen region have partial positive charge, so that's why it is attracted to the chloride ion. Okay, so the formation of hydration shell surrounding the ions, okay, will cause the salt to dissolve in the water. So that's why water function as universal or good solvent for polar or ionic compound. The fourth properties of water is high density. Water will have the maximum density at 4 degrees Celsius, which is in liquid state. So if we look at this diagram here, okay, so for a given volume of water, which is in this liquid state, as you can see, the distance between one water molecule to another water molecule is not too far, because the water molecule will keep on forming and breaking hydrogen bonds. Okay, so for this given volume of water, there will be more water molecules. Okay, more water molecules, and the water molecules will keep on moving uh, uh, around each other, and hydrogen bonds will keep on forming and breaking. Okay, and then below 4 degrees Celsius, okay, the water molecule starts to space out. So this is to allow a fixed and stable hydrogen bonds to form between the water molecule. So one water molecule will form four hydrogen bonds with another four water molecules to form ice crystal lattice. So the space between the one water molecule to another water molecule is more spaced out to form the ice crystal. So that's why water in solid state is less dense compared to water in liquid state, where there is more water molecules. So therefore, because ice is less dense, ice will float on top of the surface of the water, such as lakes that we can find in regions that have really cold climate. Okay, so for example, here we have a lake, and outside is really cold, for example -70, and this causes -70 degrees Celsius, for example, below 0 degrees Celsius. So there will be a formation of ice that float on top of the lake. Okay, so this is because ice is less dense. The benefit or the advantage of this property is that when ice floats on the top of the lake, it allows aquatic organisms such as fish, shrimp, aquatic plants to be able to survive during the cold season. Okay, so this is to protect organism below. Organism can still live. Okay, so water is a dense liquid that enables it to support organism by upthrust it exerts. So living organisms such as fish, okay, or whale even, that is heavier, uh, will be able to swim in the water, because the water is a dense liquid that can exert buoyancy. Okay, so a whale could not support its body weight in the air, however. Right. Alright, here is a diagram to show you the arrangement of water molecules in liquid state and also in ice state. So in the liquid state, okay, for a given volume of water, so water and ice, we will give the same volume in this case. So for this given volume of water in ice and liquid state, as you can see, in liquid state there will be more water molecule present. Okay, so this is because the water molecule can freely move due to the hydrogen bonds between the water molecule will keep on breaking and reforming. Okay, so there will be water molecules that continuously moves due to the hydrogen bonds that keep on breaking and reforming. So as the water changes from a liquid state to ice state, um, the water molecules, the space between the water molecule will become more spaced out. Okay, as you can see here, there's lots of open spaces, so or large gaps between water molecules that are held rigidly apart. So this is to allow one water molecule to form hydrogen bonds with another four water molecules, and this hydrogen bond is stable. Okay, strong stable hydrogen bonds between water molecules at 0 degrees Celsius, forming a rigid hexagonal crystal lattice structure. Okay, so ice will be less dense compared to water in liquid state, which is a lot denser. Okay, the fifth properties of water is transparency. Water is transparent to allow light from the sun to penetrate through the water medium, so that aquatic organisms such as phytoplankton, such as algae, to absorb the light energy, so that the light energy can be used by these aquatic plants to carry out photosynthesis. The next properties of water is reactivity. Water can take part in chemical reactions in body metabolism. Water is an essential reactant in hydrolysis reaction and photosynthesis. For example, um, uh, there's a lot of chemical reaction or biochemical reaction that occurs in our cells, in living organisms cell. Okay, so for example here, um, we have a polysaccharides. Okay, polysaccharides, for example, from the starch that you eat from the plants. Okay, if you eat potato, for example, that contains starch. The monomers are glucose. Okay, so between this glucose, they are connected through the formation of covalent bond to form the starch. When you eat starch, your body, your digestive system will start digesting and breaking down the polysaccharides into its monomer. Alright, so um, to break down the polymer, the polysaccharides back into its monomer is through the process of hydrolysis. Hydro, it means the reaction requires water. Lysis is to break bonds. Okay, so so water is an important reactant in the hydrolysis reaction to break bonds between monomer in polymers. Okay, and then water is also one of the reactant that is required for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis requires sunlight. It also requires water and also carbon dioxide to produce the end product, which is sugar or glucose. Okay, the last properties of water is cohesion and addition. Cohesion is the linking of water molecules by hydrogen bonds. Basically, cohesion involves the attraction between the same molecule, in this case between one water molecule to another water molecule through the formation of hydrogen bond. That is cohesion. So cohesion helps the transport of water against gravity in plant. So um, a tree or a plant can absorb water from the soil. So this water from the soil can move up the tree through the xylem, because the water molecules are sticking with one another through hydrogen bonds. So that is cohesion. Okay, to form a column of water that can move up the xylem. So water also has an unusually high surface tension due to hydrogen bonding between water molecule at air-water interface and to the water below. Okay, so for example, we have um, a, a water in a lake, or for example in a glass. Okay, water in a glass for example, and then you have water molecules at the air water interface. So this is the air water interface, outside is air, and then below there's also water molecules. Okay, so the water molecules at the surface will form hydrogen bonds with one another, and then water molecules at the surface also forms hydrogen bonds with water molecule below. So this will create surface tension. Surface tension. Okay, that is surface tension. For example, uh, if a feather was to be dropped on this on the surface of this water, so the feather will will be floating on the surface of the water due to the surface tension, and the feather will not sink to the bottom. Okay, um, another example where you can see surface tension is when you can observe insects that can walk that can walk on the surface of water in the river, for example. And then the next one is addition. Okay, addition is the attraction between different molecule. Okay, in this case between water molecule, okay, water molecule and another molecule that is polar. Okay, and the attraction between water molecule and the polar molecule uh, is through the formation, also through the formation of hydrogen bonds. Okay, so addition is the ability to stick to many other kinds of substances, such as charged groups of atoms or polar or molecules on their surfaces. So this explains how water makes things wet. Okay, it is attraction between water molecule and another molecule that is um, charged or polar. Okay, so it makes things looks wet. Here we can see the application of the concept cohesion and also addition. Okay, so water in the soil can move up a tree. The tree can absorb water, and the water will moves in the xylem of the tree trunk, for example in this tree. Okay, so through the concept of cohesion, when water moves in the xylem of the tree, the water molecule will form a column of water. This column of water is due to the water molecules that are attracted to one another through the formation of hydrogen bonds. Okay, and as the water moves up the xylem in this tree, the water molecule also stick to the cell wall of the xylem. As we know, the cell wall of xylem is made up of glucose. Glucose is a polar molecule. So water molecule will also be attracted to the xylem, to the xylem of the tree, to the cell wall, and then this is the concept of addition. Water molecule is attracted to another substance that is polar or charged. In this case is the xylem, is the cell wall of xylem. So through addition, this will prevent the column of water from going back down. Okay, so this is to resist the downward pull of gravity. Okay, so that's how water moves along um, in the xylem. The next property of water is surface tension. Okay, surface tension is created due to cohesion. Okay, the attraction between water molecules through the formation of hydrogen bonds. So surface tension is an attraction that molecules at the surface of a liquid may have for one another. Okay, so cohesion between water molecules results in surface tension at the surface of um, uh, a body of water. Okay, so for example here, the collective strength of hydrogen bonding between water molecules creates surface tension at the surface of this water and allows this rough spider to walk on the surface of a pond. Okay, so that's it for the subtopic water. Thank you.